Good evening. I hope you're ready for a scary story. Scary story about a man named Todd that does movie reviews.
I'm afraid that we woke something up.
You shouldn't have taken the book.
So this is a spoiler-free review for the movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But before we get started, thank you for watching. I post new videos weekly, so if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this one. Now let's get the scary review started. So Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is based on a classic children's book of the same name. It follows Stella and her friends after they uncover a book filled with terrifying stories that appear to come to life. After Sarah Bellows, the tortured soul and author of the book, begins targeting Stella and her friends, it's up to them to uncover the truth and get the book to stop. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark stars Zoe Margaret Colletti, Michael Garza, Gabriel Rush, and August Zajur. Austin Zajur. I think I pronounced that right. Guillermo de Toro is also credited as one of the writers, and I can't help but to think that he had a hand in some of the creative choices and direction, because it definitely feels like a Del Toro movie. This movie had some great things and some not so great things, but let's start off with the good, because I'm positive like that. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is well written, like the story is actually good, and it's a well-crafted script for what it is. Please keep in mind that the target audience for this movie is teens and young adults, as it's PG-13, so don't expect a bunch of senseless gore. And I kind of really enjoyed that. At times it does feel like a classic 80s horror movie. And one of the things I'd really like to praise is the practical effects. It seems like a dying art form, but this movie really showcases some really awesome visuals, and that's definitely a Del Toro influence. One moment in particular with this creature is probably one of the most creepy, intense scenes for me, and that's because it was all practical. Practical effects just look so much better in scary movies because it feels real. And don't get me wrong, there is some CGI in here, but those moments really just don't work as well for me. There's also some really creative stories, and it's fun to see them play out as they do. I never actually read the books, so there's that, but I'd be interested in seeing how the books influence the film. With that said, let's dive into some of the not so great things. I said the script is well written, but it's not really anything that strays away from a typical movie with a haunted artifact that the protagonist must find the origin for. And the acting is pretty solid, but it's not anything that's really gonna completely blow you away. There's also some odd dialogue choices and a bit of humor that didn't really land for me. And I know I always talk about runtime, but it is a huge deal for me when it comes to watching a movie. If the movie does feel long, the pacing is off. And this movie did feel long, i.e. the pacing was a bit off. There were some down moments in the middle that could have been completely shaved off to get closer to that hour-and-a-half mark. I mean, there's this dude that audibly yawned in a movie theater and we all laughed just because we all kind of felt the same way. In the end, is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark scary? Not really, at least for me. I think it's great for its target audience, and there were some cool moments and some tense situations that worked well. To see how they incorporated the stories was interesting and fun, but it still was a bit too long. The practical effects really sold a lot of those creepy moments, and I would have loved to see more of that and less CGI. But it is what it is. Would I watch this movie again? Probably not, but if you're interested in the movie and you want to watch a movie that's a little reminiscent of some classic 80s horror movies, I think you'll enjoy Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Alright, thank you so much for listening to my scary story. What did you think about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? And what's your favorite scary movie? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, watch another one here. And don't forget to click that thumbs up, it really helps me out. And hit subscribe with a side notification bell. Until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds.